Your presence is strong, even in silence. Have you ever entered a place and without saying a word, felt that everyone noticed? It was not the clothes, it wasn't the hair, it was something deeper, more invisible, more real. Have you ever felt that your simple presence changes the environment, even when you don't want to change anything? What is your energy saying while your mouth remains silent? There is something in you that speaks before the words, a silence full of presence, a stillness that reveals more than 1,000 speeches. Some call it aura, others magnetic field, but maybe it's just the truth shouting without sound who you are. Have you ever noticed how certain silences constrain, but not yours? Yours brings peace, and at the same time a strange discomfort for those who live in masks. Maybe you were born to be a mirror, not just any reflection, but that rare type who shows what is behind the makeup. And then I ask you, why is it that some avoid you without apparent reason, and why do others approach as if they were missing something that they don't even know what it is? It may be that you are just being you, but the world, accustomed to filters, still does not know how to deal with the real. What if your greatest strength is precisely what you always thought you needed to hide? Have you noticed how some people seem to be bothered by your calm? It's not what you do, it's what you are. It's the way you occupy your own space without apologizing for existing. Why does your presence bother so much who never really knew you? Perhaps because, without realizing it, you scan what they try to hide. Their authenticity does not scream, but echoes. And this echo will hit the inner walls that many people spend their lives trying to ignore. You are not the problem. You are the mirror. And the mirror can be cruel, not because it lies, but because it reveals. Have you ever been called too intense? Have they said you need to fit in more? But what if the problem was never its intensity, but the inability of others to sustain depth? Perhaps what they see in you is exactly what they avoid seeing in you. Have you ever noticed how sometimes your presence is enough for someone to start to justify themselves, defend themselves, or attack? You didn't even talk, but their light turned on something they would rather keep off. And there is the paradox. The more you heal, the more you become a reminder of the wound that the other has not yet touched. You do not provoke, you just exist, and yet this only has the power to unearth worlds. But what if that is exactly your role? Not soften the truth, but show it. Do not please everyone, but be true to yourself. Have you noticed how some beings simply trust you, without knowing your name, your history, your sign, or your profession? Children who look you in the eye as if they already knew you from other lives. Animals that approach as if they find shelter just by being close. And nature seems to breathe more calmly when you arrive. Why? They do not listen to your words. They feel your energy, and the truth does not need to be explained to be recognized. You know that moment when a dog comes and lies at your feet, even with so many people around? Or that child who watches you in silence as if he knows he can trust? It is not chance, it is vibration. They are not enchanted with appearance, status, or performance. They recognize presence, real presence, one that does not need to prove itself. Perhaps it is because, unlike most, you are not trying to be, you simply are. And in this simply, there is a silent power that attracts what is pure. Because what is true always recognizes what is true. Have you noticed how the wind changes when you stop and take a deep breath? How do the birds sing closer? How does time slow down when you're at peace? It can seem subtle, but this is the kind of thing that is not taught. It emanates. What if its presence is a language that only the most authentic beings can understand? Have you ever felt the weight of a look crossing the environment without knowing if it was admiration, fear, or confusion? Sometimes you didn't even say anything, nor move differently, and yet the air changes when you enter. It is not arrogance, it is presence. You intimidate, not because it imposes, but because it exists with integrity. And this scares those who still live fragmented. It is not your fault if the other does not know how to deal with his own reflection. You are not competing, comparing, measuring forces. You are only being whole. And to be whole in a world of halves is an almost subversive act. Have you ever heard someone say, "There's something about you that I don't know how to explain," or that uncomfortable silence that arises without reason as soon as you enter a room? Perhaps it is because your tranquility is not common. Your calmness comes from a place that many have not yet reached. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to prove anything. Your truth speaks for you, and sometimes it speaks too loud for those who still hide behind characters. It's curious, the masks always get restless in the presence of someone who does not wear any. And here comes the question that does not shut up. Is it you who intimidates, or is it the other who has not yet learned to be naked before his own soul? You are not a threat. It is a mirror. But not everyone is ready to see themselves. You do not force anything. You don't have to, because your energy already works for you. It enters and the eyes deviate, conversations change, forced laughter silences. It is not control, it's influence. Have you ever wondered why certain places seem to breathe relief when you arrive? And why do others contract, as if they are confronted? The answer is not in what you say. It is in what you emanate. Your presence carries memories, old wisdom, deep truths that you don't always understand but feel. It's as if there is something in you that touches the spaces like an invisible wind, something that cleans, reveals, transforms. Some people feel welcome, others are exposed, but no one remains indifferent, because you carry archetypes, energies that come from afar, portals that open just because you are there. Maybe that's why you feel out of place sometimes, as if you were always in a world that has not yet understood who you are. But the truth is that the world does not need to understand. He just needs to feel, and he feels. Now the question is, do you feel too? Answer me here in the comments, and take this opportunity to share with that person you think you need to hear it too, who needs to ask these questions. And do not forget to enjoy the video so it can reach those who are still losing trying to fit. Subscribe to the channel. Here we don't wear masks, we take off. Remember, you're not alone. I'll see you next video.